Hey guys, so I wanted to make a little story right now because I was reading some comments, and for the most part, people are really liking the series, and I'm really excited because we've been working really hard on it. There are some people that think um, it's like complicated to even explain because some people are mad that we're talking about sociopaths and that it's like dehumanizing and that it's offensive and that was my like initial fear with this whole thing. That's why it took me so long to do this. Like, I mean, I wanted to do this for months, but I kept saying, never mind, I don't want to offend anybody. But every professional around me, I don't know where it cut me off, but I've had professionals around me the whole time. The therapist I worked with, my actual psychiatrist who I worked with on this, like off camera, and many other people who very much know their shit, who have told me, number one, you can't offend them. That's not a thing. They don't care. Like, and no, they're not all like evil serial killer, whatever. They just don't care. So like, and they don't go to therapy. If they do go to therapy, they're not a full sociopath. If they're a full sociopath, which is what we're talking about, they don't go to therapy. They don't think they need it. So when you try to give them therapy, it's useless because they think they're better than it. That why are they here? You know what I'm saying? So for people who are saying, "Oh, Shane, they're struggling," No, they're not. They don't care. Like I think, and it might be my fault because I did cut a lot of things out of the video. We had like 5 hours of footage, so I really cut it down and try to make it entertaining, which is my fault. I should have maybe just left it very plain. I wanted to make it entertaining, but at the core of it, what I wanted people to know is like an actual sociopath does not care. If you're in a friendship that's toxic or a relationship that's toxic and they're showing all of the signs, not just one of them, all of them, if they've been doing dangerous things that are putting you in harm's way, if they seem like they don't really care, if they're doing things like that, you need to realize it and get away from it. Or realize it and accept it and know that that's what that is. I'm gonna keep it real. I probably have sociopaths still in my life. I'm not cutting them out, but knowing all of this information has changed my life. The way I interact with people now that I've spent the last 2 months fully falling down the hole and researching and talking to professionals, I feel so much better. I don't answer texts from people who I think might be using me or might be that. I'll answer them, but not right away. And I'll look at my texts and be like, oh, every time they text me, they want something. Oh, and every time I'm around them, I leave sad and feeling worn out and depressed. And I feel like I'm being used. And it just makes you feel like, oh, I don't have to do this. Because if they are a sociopath, they don't care. They're not offended that I didn't return their text. They're not offended that I kind of stopped talking to them because they don't care. And that's life-changing because then you won't be in a bad situation. And I understand, but I never want to offend anybody, hurt anybody, or make anybody feel alienated. That's never been my channel. That's not what I want to do. So I know why people are sensitive, saying, oh, you made it scary or creepy, or oh, my friend's a sociopath. I know, and they're offended, and you know, and I totally get it. I understand. I was nervous about it. But the reason I made it scary and creepy was so people would watch it. Because if I made it like a standard video where I just sat there and was like, oh, interesting, they don't feel. Okay, next topic, people wouldn't care. And if people don't care, they don't watch it. And if they don't watch it, they don't know the warning signs, and less people know what to look for. Because, and once again, I'm talking about full-fledged sociopaths, right? Now knowing all of the information you got in today's video, yes, it was sensationalized and there was like crazy clips and stuff to make it interesting, but like now knowing, moving forward in your life, it will be... Okay, sorry, I'm rambling, I don't know where I left off, but my main thing I wanted to get across was, number one, I'm sorry if I offended anybody. If you are offended for someone who has this or thinks they have this, I am sorry, but just know my intentions were not bad. My intentions were to make something interesting, to show a side of personality disorders that nobody talks about. because they're too afraid to, and they're like, oh, should I? Like, it's something that people don't talk about, and I wanted to talk about it. I'm personally connected to it for so many reasons that I haven't even talked about. And I'm sorry if anybody was offended, but, you know, just, and it wasn't even that many people, but I am the type of person who, like, if one person's offended, I feel, like, gross and like shit, and I feel guilty, and my stomach hurts, and I'm like, alright, I gotta fix this. So the fact that there were hundreds of comments made me feel like, oh my god, I have to say something. So I don't know if this made any sense. I'm sorry, I'll probably delete this and redo it tomorrow, but I just wanted to say something. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, hopefully you got something out of it, hopefully it kind of opened up your mind a little bit, and if you think you are a sociopath, you're probably not. Just putting that out there. Like, if you're like, maybe I'm a you're not. Like, it's not like that. I don't even know how else to explain it, because it's so complicated. Which is why I think people are mad, because they're like, you didn't explain it right. It's like, yeah, because it's almost impossible to explain. I've watched hours and hours and hours of documentaries and footage and videos and interviews and talked to him. Sorry, I stopped because I thought it would stop recording. I've read 2 books about it, and I still am confused. For me, it just opened up a bigger conversation, which is what I wanted, which is like, this is something we don't talk about. Like, every movie you've seen, every like character, there's so many sociopaths in movies, but they never call them that. Like, I just saw that movie, 2 weeks ago I saw it. Fuck. It was with Anna Kendrick. Fuck, I don't remember the name of it. It was a good movie though. But it was about a sociopath. Literally, I read a book about a sociopath, and I went to see the movie, and it was all the same things. Like, the guy obviously read that book that wrote the movie. And they never say in the movie that she's a sociopath. But it literally is about a sociopath and how they operate. Like an actual one, right? And I was like, oh my god. That's so crazy that they didn't say that she's a sociopath. They were probably afraid. They didn't want to label her, right? But it was interesting, because then you look back through all of the movies you've seen as a kid and all the shows you've seen. There are so many characters that were written to be sociopaths. There's certain traits, there's certain ways that they carry themselves, certain drinks they drink. There's actual like scientific studies about like certain drinks that they like, and certain things that they do, and certain ways that they talk with their hands, and all these things, right? It's so fascinating, because it's like, oh, this has been almost like a big secret. And people are mad at me for talking about it, but it almost makes me even more happy I talked about it, because I'm like, you know what, if I would have known when I was 12 to watch out for certain things, I probably would have gotten away from fucking a lot of people that fucked me over. So it is very interesting. Now I'm just talking in circles. I'm fascinated with this shit, so I'm not gonna keep apologizing, because I am fascinated by it. I'm sorry if you were offended. I'm moving on with the series. I'm gonna definitely be more sensitive about making things scary and sensationalizing it. I totally understand that I took it to like level 10, because I love horror movies, and I was like excited, and I should have held back, and I'm sorry for that. But it is something interesting. So I'm rambling. I'm gonna go. I have a taser, just letting you know. I felt like showing it because it was there, and I want to keep calm and let Andrew handle it.